I realize I'm posting a little bit out of order today because I really want to cover everything that happened at Maxine Dexter's town hall today before I post my drafts from last night. But I also want to take a break here really quickly because I had a package that came in the mail and I wanted to share with you what I got. So I have been trying to build a library, like a resistance library that I can share with folks from Indivisible or neighbors, etc. And I've been ordering from Better World Books and also from Powell's, right? Not Amazon. Let me show you the books that I've amassed thus far. People keep asking me, like, what books do I recommend? So let me first show you the ones I've read in the last couple weeks, and then I'll show you what's in here. And if you're part of East Portland Indivisible and you want to borrow any of these, let me know. So number one is From Dictatorship to Democracy by Gene Sharp. A number of Gene Sharp's other books, the ones that are like this big, are available for free online. This is such a good intro, and it's very thin and small. I'm sorry, I just did the ASMR thing. This is what happens when you watch too much book talk. Anyway, okay. Great book about nonviolent direct action and how you use those kinds of strategies to move from dictatorship to democracy. Do recommend. Second book that I really, really enjoyed is Blueprint for Revolution by Sergej Popovich. It is about the Otpor movement in Serbia. The subtitle is How to Use Rice Pudding, Lego Men, and Other Nonviolent Techniques to Galvanize Communities, Overthrow Dictators, and Simply Change the World. Excellent. I've read a few excerpts from this book that people seem to appreciate. I might read a few more, but overall, excellent read about nonviolent strategy, the kinds of inventive techniques that folks used in the Otpor movement and also other nonviolent movements as well. And to piggyback on that, this was recommended by one of the leaders of my Indivisible chapter. It's called This is an Uprising. It's by Mark Engler and Paul Engler, and it is about nonviolent resistance movements in the 21st century. It's a little bit beefier. It talks about Otpor a little bit, but this was very good. Do recommend. I think I've also read excerpts from this, and I might read some more. This is my most recent one, and I'm almost done with it. It's called Dying of Whiteness. I had talked up in a previous video the book White Rural Rage, which I got from the library. I've not purchased it. And I made like a brief reference to how much I enjoyed that book and how much it helped me understand MAGA, particularly struggling working class people white people in rural America and why they vote against their own best interests. And in the comments of that video, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was that suggested this book, Dying of Whiteness. And so I ordered it. How the Politics of Racial Resentment is Killing America's Heartland by Jonathan Metzl. This is really good, and I may do a couple videos reading excerpts from it as well to kind of tempt you to pick it up. I know I like to quote Rage Against the Machine a lot, and I'm not actually saying here, know your enemy. What I'm saying is if we want to help people, we want to help this entire country deconstruct and recover from MAGA. If we want restorative justice and healing, if we want a path out of this, we have to understand the ways that MAGA and white Christian nationalists and folks like Stephen Miller manipulated the struggles of the rural poor, took advantage of the suffering of white blue-collar folks in this country, and then they dumped on a big heap of racism, misogyny, transphobia, hatred of homeless folks, of the poor, right? That was gasoline that they poured on that fire. They knew how to harness and manipulate that really well. If we want to understand how to get out of this, we need to understand the ways that white America has been really susceptible, and also the systemic failures that made it possible for Donald Trump to be able to exploit those folks. Like, right, he spoke into their suffering, not to use Christianese, but that's exactly what he did. White rural America has been suffering. White working class folks in this country, they are also exploited by the billionaires. It is because of Citizens United. It's because of Reaganomics. It's because of our elected officials prioritizing corporate money, corporate interest. It's because of PACs. It's because of dark money fucking in our politics that we all suffer more. And unfortunately, Donald Trump was able to exploit that suffering, to lie to people. He straight up lied to people. He said, I'm going to make America great. I see that you are having a hard time. I see that you are struggling, that you feel that you're never going to have as good of a quality of life as your parents did, that you struggle to make rent and feed your children. The future feels more and more bleak. Yeah, I'm going to come in and I'm going to make America great for you. He told them that lie. He told the coal miners in West Virginia he was going to fix the coal industry and bring back all of their jobs. I know I said it in another video, maybe it was today, maybe it was yesterday, that when the people are struggling and suffering and they have romanticized a version a previous version of this country, a period in the past that they are able to look at through their nostalgia glasses and think that it was more prosperous. They're very susceptible to strong men who come in and offer reactionary politics, offer to actually regress this nation to a less prosperous time with more oppression, fewer rights. The working class are far more exploited. Right, the fascists are so good at exploiting that. Like, we'll take you back to a time that you romanticize as being prosperous. We'll take you there. We acknowledge that things suck for you right now, right? It was an honest assessment by the Republicans. They didn't say, like, we're the reason that you're suffering, but they did tell white rural voters, white working class voters, like, yeah, this sucks. This is not good for you. We're not going to gaslight you and tell you that everything is hunky-dory, rosy, and amazing. You aren't living that. Right? Establishment Democrats were like, Biden's economy is booming, everything's wonderful. But that wasn't what people were living in their lives. They felt lied to. They felt gaslit. Yeah, the numbers for the economy were great. Guess where all that money was going? Yes, Joe Biden tried to have multiple programs that would help bring employment, prosperity. I understand all of that, but also Democrats, corporate Democrats, establishment Democrats were so out of touch with the real conditions under which so many Americans were living, where they couldn't make rent, where healthcare was oppressive and inaccessible, where they couldn't afford college for their children. They didn't feel that there was any hope for the future. They didn't feel that the American dream was accessible to them. So you can't tell those kind of people like, oh yeah, it's fine here. It's great. The economy's great. Nope. Donald Trump, he was really good at saying, yeah, this is not good for you guys. It's Joe Biden's fault and I'm going to fix it. So yeah, white rural rage and then this dying of whiteness. Read it. Okay, let's get into the books that came today. So the first one is, sorry for the crinkly paper. The first one is a physical copy of the book I had a digital copy of, which is Timothy Snyder's On Freedom. So I've already read this, but I wanted to have a copy to loan out to friends and family. If you have read Tim Snyder's On Tyranny, you really, really need to read this. I keep thinking about this book. There are multiple sections that I think about in the middle of the night while I'm driving my car. That's how I know it was a really good read. I keep pondering different aspects of this. I want to talk more later this week about Tim's chapter on unpredictability in particular, but also the chapter on solidarity. Oh, so good. The other two books, one of which I've already read, I thought would be useful for the library and helpful for other people. The first one is This Radicalize You. I originally got this from the library on audiobook. Naomi Klein called it a prophetic work. This is super, super good. I'm just going to say super, super good for all of these books. Every single one of them, an invaluable read. What fuels and sustains activism and organizing when it feels like our worlds are collapsing? Let This Radicalize You is a practical guide and imaginative resource for building power in an era of destabilization and catastrophe. This book has really shaped my outlook this year. And the last one is Revolutionary Nonviolence. Some of the other books I mentioned dive much more deeply into nonviolent resistance movements in Asia and in Europe. This one really focuses, I believe, I haven't read it yet, on nonviolence in the American civil rights movement. I think Angela Davis did the foreword to this book. Yes, she did. I'll read this and tell you how it goes. But if you're in my Indivisible group, I now have a library. I'm happy to lend books out. If people have other recommendations of what I should be reading next, in an era where the Trump regime is trying to deny us education, where they are trying to censor books, they are removing books from the Naval Academy Library, they're taking away funding from our libraries. They want us uneducated, uninformed, because we're much easier to control. Taking time to sit down and read and to educate ourselves and expand our minds, that is an act of resistance. One of the other local Indivisible chapters has a book club, and I think maybe ours should start one as well. And maybe that's something that y'all would want to do, a resistance book club, where you can read through and then talk through the concepts in these books. Yeah, let me know what other books I should be adding to my library. And then if you want to borrow any,